Good morning, man. How you doing?
How you doing, DA? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing fabulous.
Check out the simulcast right now to watch the proceedings at watchda.com. And this is, I think, a really cool concept for people that are not familiar with the concept. How does this differ when you're trying to organize an entire league of MMA fights and a season of them?
That's a good question. And we thought about it for a long time. And we really think that fans, look, especially here in America, I mean, fans understand a season. Around the world, they understand a season, whether it's soccer, whether, it's hockey right now. We're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And so we looked at MMA and we looked at what the fighters needed. And we started to think about how that regular season would play out and then how the fighters would then transfer into the playoffs. And then the playoffs is a straight quarterfinals, 8 top fighters in each weight class go into the quarterfinals, and it's fight, win, or go home. And you advance, and you control your destiny. You move from the quarters to the semis to the championship bout on December 31st. And so we really think we put all the nice things together. In the regular season, there's going to be matchmaking inside of these 12 fighters in each of these 6 weight classes that we've got, and they're going to fight. They're going to get points for wins. They're going to get points for their first, second, or third round finish. They're going to get no points if they lose. They're all going to try and get points in that regular season to become one of those 8 that make it into the playoffs. And, of these elite 72 fighters that we've got, 6 weight classes, 6 of them at the end of the year are going to be millionaires. And it's a pretty exciting format, and so far the fighters have really embraced it.
It's interesting because in terms of tiered playoffs, in some ways it is a strictly American concept. The English Premier League has a regular season, but whoever is the best after the regular season is just the champion. There is no tiered leagues. There's no tiered playoffs, rather. We here in America love this. We love brackets. It's why March Madness means so much. We like pitting 2 opponents together and then picking who the winner is and then seeing how far that team or that player can advance or that athlete. And so I think this is a really cool idea for that reason. It's why all of these leagues, not necessarily because they feel like they crown their best team every year, but know that the playoffs is what truly the American sports fan is all about. There's just something about this, as you said, that we love brackets, we love playoffs, and it feeds into, I think, how we as Americans consume sports the most, right?
Well, and I think, I agree that Americans love it, but, you look at the World Cup, and even the World Cup has got, once you advance past the round robin,
sure,
you make it into a traditional bracket. And at the end of the day, when you advance, from the 8 to the Final 4 to the championship fight, someone's going to win. Nobody can argue who won or lost. You both went into the cage, and one person's going to come out a winner. And it's not that this guy didn't get to that guy or this guy was being hidden from that guy. It's, if you and I fight, DA, we go in and every fan knows that one of us is going to win. And we're going to win based on what we do in the cage. And I think every sports fan loves that.
Carlos Silva is the president of the Pro Fight League. He joins us in studio here on the show. I think about college football in this way. For years, there was the debated national champion. Nobody knew if that really was the best football team. Then we had the BCS, so we pitted the top 2. Now we have a playoff system, and there's always the banging of the drum. We want more tiers. We want more teams to really see who's the best. And to your point, not keep anybody out. Don't hide any team. Settle it on the field. In this case, in between the ring, in the octagon, have fighters battle it out. And is that an issue in your mind for fans of the fight game that they don't see enough fighters going at one another because of politics or one guy or one person's publicity or the types of things that really have, I think, brought boxing to its knees?
Not really. I mean, I think, look, what's happened in MMA over the last 20 years is phenomenal. I mean, it's raised the sport up. It's now, it's the fastest growing sport in the world. It's arguably a top 4 or top 5 sport in the world. So I think it's been built on that, and I think it'll continue to get built on that around promotion. It's just we've put together a sporting format, a true sport format, and we think that league format will be embraced. It's already been embraced by our fighters, these Elite 72 that are part of this first season of Professional Fighters League, but we think the fans too, and you're already seeing it on social media, the kind of buzz around really letting guys go and control their destiny and make it into the playoffs. And ultimately, if you keep winning, you will be $1 million world champion in the Professional Fighters League on December 31st.
So the PFL ownership bought the World Series of Fighting and then kept the best fighters. Then, as you said, now there's a 72-man roster, including a lot of big names: Jake Shields, Will Brooks, Lance Palmer, a number of others, and include the cousin of Khabib, who's a huge star, of course. And my question is, how hard or how difficult was the selection process to whittle it down to the 72 guys you wanted in this league?
It was hard. It was hard. As you said, we've been around for 6 years, and so it's not our first rodeo. We know how to put on fights. Ray Sefo runs our fighting operations, understands how to put matches together and find great fighters from around the world. I think we did that. We probably had twice as many seats that wanted into that final 72. Having said that, they're all on a short list. They might be available if things come up. And then certainly as we look at 2019 and the 72 fighters advance through the system this year to crown champions, then we'll relook at how that works in 2019 with a good handful of those that make it into the semifinals and beyond coming back for 2019. But then we'll look at that roster, expand it, and then continue with the same league format.
Did you look for fighters that were simply the 72 best, or did you also look at marketability and fan interest and popularity?
I think, look, it's in all of sports, we're all in sports and entertainment and media. We are. And so absolutely, as we looked around the world, we've got fighters from 14 countries. We've got a great contingent here from America, but we've got some great fighters from Russia, from Brazil, from Germany, from Sweden, and more. And so we tried to look at both. We had a great roster of former champions from different promotions, former champions from what we've done over the last 6 years, and we tried to mix them all together to create 12 in each weight class that really would, put a great show on, and then ultimately move into this great, playoff night in October.
Carlos Silva joins us from the Pro Fight League. You guys have your first big-time event coming up on Thursday, Madison Square Garden at the Hulu Theater there, which is going to be awesome. There's always a buzz. There's always an electricity that happens in New York, but especially with fights, whether it's boxing, MMA, whatever it is, there is just something, especially at MSG, it crackles. There's something about it. How excited is that for you guys having it there?
Well, look, we were the second fight here in the city, after UFC was here on, in November, back in 2016. We were here on, December 31st of 2016, had an awesome show working with the folks at Madison Square Garden's amazing. It's a great venue, right? Being in the middle of Manhattan. So I think all the fighters are excited about it. I think they're excited even if they're not in the fight. We got the featherweights and the heavyweights debuting in PFL 1, but I think all of the fighters are thinking about it, and a bunch of them will be here. Guys like Jake Shields and Chris Wade are coming. They're training here in the city, and they're going to be at the Fight Force too. So I think absolutely it's the electricity of everything that happens at the Garden. It's New York City. It's our premiere. It's Facebook. It's NBC Sports Network. We got some great partners, and everyone should come out. Come out. Grab some tickets. There's some great seats. Every seat in the Hulu Theater is a great seat if you haven't seen a show there, and we'd love for you to come out Thursday night, starting at 6 when the doors open.
Your background has always been as a progressive guy, a modern guy, kind of looking toward the future of how things can be pushed to that next level. And I think now with all sports, we're looking at how will rights be distributed? How will things be watched? How will we consume them as fans? For the PFL, do you envision over the next 5 years it being television, it being live streaming, it being digital content? How do you think fans will be in person? How will they gravitate most to what you guys are doing?
Yeah, look, MMA is the perfect package. In 15 minutes, you get action. You get a winner and you get a loser in 15 minutes, and you get some drama. So I think as you see what's happened over the last 5 years, and I think as we look to the next 5 years on, every screen being a television set, no more are we talking about mobile. It's just you're watching whatever you're watching on your phone or your tablet or your television set or your computer. And so I think that just continues. I think we'll take advantage of it with all the partners that we've got. You look at all the broadcasters, folks like NBCSN, they're doing some great stuff on the digital side. You look at us working with Facebook right now, they're doing some great stuff on the worldwide distribution side. And so it's how we work and create the best package with the best partners. And we think we've got that, in 2018 with Facebook opening. You'll see 7 fights on Thursday night, and then Facebook's going to throw it straight to NBCSN. You'll tune into NBCSN, and you're going to get 5 fights in between 9 and 11 on NBCSN. And then the great thing is Todd, who's our NBC guy and is our great host, is going to throw it back to Facebook for a post show at the end of the show. And so we're taking advantage of all of it to grow the league with our partners. And I think that's just going to continue over the next 5 years.
So the first event's coming up on Thursday at Madison Square Garden. Then 2 weeks after that in Chicago, the Chicago Theater. And then 2 weeks after that, going to be in D.C. as well. Is that kind of going to be the schedule that you guys look for every 2 weeks, going to another large market and putting it there?
Yeah, so it's exciting. We've got Thursday nights during the regular season, and it's going to be, Thursday nights are going to be your night for MMA around the world. And so, New York, 2 weeks later, Chicago, and, exciting in Chicago that Kayla Harrison, who, most fans know as a 2-time, judo gold medalist, is going to be making her debut. She's 0-0. So she's going to be a special event on the Chicago card along with our PFL2 regular season. And then we're down in D.C., and then we're going to be down in Nassau, and then we're going to be down in Atlantic City. So we're going to be out at the Nassau Coliseum, the new home of the Islanders as they go back there. And then we're going to be down in Atlantic City at the Ocean Resort, which is just reopening. I'm excited about it. So it's a great Thursday night lineup during the regular season here.
Very cool. So coming up Thursday, Madison Square Garden, Hulu Theater. You can get your tickets now to go see PFL 1, Pro Fight League, and then Chicago Theater 2 weeks after that, D.C. 2 weeks after that, all those other places that you just heard Carlos mention as well. You can get your tickets, or if you're not going to be able to go there, check it out, NBC Sports Network, NBCSN. Got the PFL on there. That's going to be great. All across the country, people can watch.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So you can also go online for more information. Go to PFLMMA.com for all the information to buy tickets, for the schedule, for the fighters, for the cards. PFLMMA.com. Also, go on to Twitter and follow Carlos on Twitter at Carlos Silva for the latest on the PFL.